So thank you all for joining us here today as we celebrate Arbor Day in Royal Oak. My name's Aaron Filipski. I serve as the Director of Public Services and Recreation for the city. And I'm proud to once again be hosting this gathering, which celebrates the tremendous value of trees and reaffirms the community's commitment to being a Tree City USA. This being our 46th consecutive year. That's right. This year's celebration is particularly special for reasons that we'll get into in a moment, but first I'd just like to recognize some of our special guests this morning. We're pleased to be joined by John Erb, his family, and the staff of the Fred A. and Barbara M. Erb Family Foundation. We're also joined by a number of trustees from the Royal Oak Civic Foundation. Members and volunteers from the Royal Oak Nature Society. And also by some dignitaries. The Royal Oak Mayor, Mike Fournier, is here. Along with City Commissioners Perush, Colo, and Hunt. Thank you all for being here. And lastly, but not least, city staff and this wonderful looking group of third graders from Addams Elementary, along with their teachers and parents. Thank you again for celebrating with us today. You know, I'm proud to oversee many of the city's initiatives related to the environment and sustainability. In particular, I've really enjoyed the work related to trees. Over the last several years, we as a city have planted more than 1,000 trees, and that work will continue this year and in years moving forward. We should all be really proud of our forward-looking actions. And like the fine group of students that we have here today, these plantings will grow tall and strong and impart benefits to the community and planet for generations. As I mentioned earlier, this year's celebration is particularly special because our community was gifted a generous donation from the Erb Family Foundation to the Royal Oak Civic Foundation, which will be used to make substantial improvements to the Arboretum that we're at today, making the visitor experience here more accessible and more enriching. These improvements will include pathway connections, educational and wayfinding signage, maintenance equipment and facilities, 100 new trees to complete the native tree collection, an outdoor education area, benches, and more. And we're enormously grateful for the opportunities that this will provide. So please join me in thanking the Erb Family Foundation. I'd also like to acknowledge the Royal Oak Nature Society and its group of volunteers for their hard work over the last more than 20 years, Bob, is that right? Tending to the grounds and the gardens here, giving countless hours of sweat and toil to make the Arboretum what it is today. And this gift will complement their efforts in significant ways. So please join me in thanking the Royal Oak Nature Society. And now it's my pleasure to introduce John Erb, Chair of the Fred A. and Barbara M. Erb Family Foundation, for some remarks.
Good morning, everyone. There might be a little repetition here, but I am John Erb. I'm chair of the Erb Family Foundation. Thank you, Aaron. What a lovely introduction. And thank you all for being here today to celebrate Arbor Day at the Fred A. Erb Arboretum, named after my late father. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree. That quote really resonates with me, and that's from Warren Buffett. Yes, it feels good to hike in a forest or even to watch a tree grow in your yard over time. And it's fitting that the city is named for a tree. The majestic oak. So we need to have a little participation with our guests here today. So would all of you who have a favorite tree, would you please raise your hand? Good, thank you. The Fred A. Erb Arboretum is a special place because of the City of Royal Oak and the Royal Oak Nature Society. Those organizations and other groups and individuals have worked hard to plant trees, wildflowers, shrubs, and remove weeds and invasive plants during the past several years. Today it's a place with learning programs, opportunities for Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to volunteer, and there's a big vision for continued growth as a community asset. Again, congratulations, and thanks goes out today to everyone at the City of Royal Oak, especially Aaron, thank you, Director of Public Services, our Mayor Mike Fournier, City Manager Paul Brake, the Royal Oak City Commission, the Royal Oak Civic Foundation and its Chair Tom McGannon, the Royal Oak Nature Society, community volunteers, and I think we might have something special later on today. It's in my notes. I'm not going to I'll let that be a surprise. And I also want to recognize some very special people here today that are part of the foundation, and also part of the foundation's foundation, and it really was Erb Lumber, because my wife Debbie is here, and she's a trustee of the Erb Family Foundation. We have Erb Family Foundation staff. There's sort of, if you'd raise your hand just to let people know that you're here. And also, on the end here are two longtime early employees of Erb Lumber, Ron Snyder, who started in 1971, and Rick Kramer in 72. And I always get a kick because a longtime customer of Erb Lumber was Robertson Brothers, and the Royal Oak logo always reminds me of Robertson Brothers. But Royal Oak sold some property, and we have Robertson Brother housing right behind here, so it all fits in the long run. And again, we have very special guests here, the Addams Elementary 3rd grade. So thank you for being here. I'd like a round of applause for them. Knowing these natural areas exist as a place to see Michigan's native trees, or even learn about the great horned owl, it's exciting and makes me smile. It's exactly the kind of place my father would have loved to visit. And since one of the main funding priorities of the Erb Family Foundation is the environment, it's only fitting the Arboretum we're celebrating today has been renamed after my father, Fred Erb. My father would have been 100 years old this year, yet we still see his impact on the world every day. His generosity and vision were ahead of his time, especially how he saw the opportunities to make our world better and more environmentally minded one. The environment and health of the Great Lakes Basin was also very important to my mother, Barbara Erb. Both of them wanted future generations to be able to connect with the natural world. The City of Royal Oak is an important part of that vision with the Erb family history. My father was born and raised in Royal Oak. He took the reins of Erb Lumber Company in 1947, but before that, my great-great-grandfather immigrated from Germany in 1856. And my great-grandfather ran a general store at the corner of 2nd and Main Street, now home to Burger's Bagels. And in fact, just the building just south of that, of the bagel shop, still at the top, if you look, there's a capstone with my great-grandfather's name, Jacob Erb, on the top of it. It's really the last remnant of many remnants of that we have a physical existence here in the City of Royal Oak. As some of you might know, but the first lumber yard was Erb Kidder Lumber, which was at the corner of Lincoln and Main. And another fun fact is the day that my father started at the lumber yard, his uncle handed over the business to him. That was in 1947. My father was just 24 years old. And he was at the helm of the store of 7 employees. But under his leadership over the next decades, Erb Lumber became Michigan's largest supplier of lumber and building materials. I worked at the lumber company for over 38 years, climbing the ladder from sweeping floors. I was promoted to stock boy, and then I ended up as a vice president of operations. When we sold the business in 1993, Erb Lumber had 45 locations, 1,300 employees, and over $280 million in sales. For my parents, this growth represented remarkable business stewardship. But beyond their business skills, my parents knew it was important to support philanthropic projects that improve the quality of life for all, including projects like this Arboretum. We know the Erb Family Foundation's grant to the Civic Foundation will benefit people in Royal Oak, a community my parents love so much. It promises long-lasting benefits, especially with a focus on nurturing native species. I'd like to extend my appreciation and the foundations to everyone who's contributed to this effort. Many of us have deep roots in this town, just like some of the trees. Thank you to Royal Oak city leaders, past and present, for their vision of a tree-filled city. They also wrote and approved the Royal Oak Sustainability and Climate Action Plan. Congratulations, well done. And congratulations to Royal Oak, which celebrated its 100th birthday in 2021, and the city, designated as Tree City USA since 1976. One of the reasons it received that designation is because it has a 30% tree canopy. So this will continue to help that effort. And another really, thinking long-term and vision, there are 51 parks in Royal Oak, which is an amazing number. And that is because in the 1930s, Myron Zucker, a parks commissioner, created a policy that all children should have access to a park within a quarter mile of their home without having to cross a major road. That's amazing. Let's keep that sustainability trend growing together. In conclusion, the Fred A. Erb Arboretum is a great example of living in alignment with a key family foundation area, a flourishing Great Lakes ecosystem. We want our kids and grandkids and their kids and grandkids to visit the woods, swim in the Great Lakes, and understand their role in the ecosystem. Whether it's children or adults, we all need to keep learning. I encourage everyone to pick up a Great Lakes watershed map. They're back there in the corner before you leave today. It was created by the Erb Family Foundation. And you third graders, you don't have to pick one up. Your teachers, we're going to give them a big roll. They're going to get it at school, so don't worry about it. You don't have to pick it up. But you'll get one. Take a map home for you or for someone you know who would appreciate this visual reminder of how we fit into a larger picture. No matter where you live in the state of Michigan, you live in a watershed that flows out to the Great Lakes. The Arboretum is a part of that bigger picture. On behalf of the Erb Family Foundation and the Erb family, it is my pleasure to celebrate this day with you. And special thanks to all of you third graders who are here today helping to plant the tree. I thank you, and we all thank you. And today, together, we are all doing something truly special. Thank you again for allowing us to be a part of it. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, John. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Tom McGannon, Chair of the Royal Oak Civic Foundation, for some comments as well.
Go and fight with it. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Thank you so much for joining us here today. What a special day. And I think about anytime I talk to someone who lives in Royal Oak, most of us will ask each other, what are your top favorite things about living in this community? I'll be curious how many of you, because most of my friends and neighbors say this, and their top three includes, it's a tree-dense community and we have great parks. Was that in your top three? If it isn't, think about your community, because I'll bet it becomes one in the next few years for sure. And it certainly will because of this generous gift. On behalf of the Royal Oak Civic Foundation, we're delighted to accept this generous gift to the community. The Royal Oak Civic Foundation was created recently, just in the last few years, to connect foundations like the Erb Foundation, corporations, local businesses, organizations, and even individuals who might have a great idea, like today's, and have a resource to make that idea happen as well. It is no surprise to us that the Erb Foundation has provided our first largest gift for sure. That organization is so forward-thinking, and with their deep roots in the community, we appreciate so much this inaugural investment in this project. This is an exceptional gift. Many, many, many thanks to the Erb Foundation, and many thanks to all of you for coming. John and Debbie, thank you for this exceptional gift. It will have a long-lasting tribute to your father as well, too. Thank you.
Well, in honor of the opportunities provided by this gift, as we discussed, it's fitting that these grounds be named appropriately. So if you could, and Kyle, I'll need some help from you if you could. Join me in officially designating these grounds as the Fred A. Erb Arboretum. And each year we plant the tree as part of our ceremony, and this year is no different. This year we're planting a pin oak. A mighty tree, strong and sturdy like our commitment to the planet and community, and as we've learned today, characteristics that reflect Fred Erb's life and legacy. And as we do most years, I asked one of the teachers to select a good representative student who could be the honorary tree marshal this year, who gets to throw the first shovel of soil into the tree that we have planted across the way. After the tree marshal does her job, the other students can join, taking turns filling in the hole for that tree. So we asked for somebody that would be appropriate for this. And the name we selected, quite appropriately, is Sophie Maples. Thank you, Sophie. You can go. I'll walk with you in a moment, and your friends can join you afterwards. The last couple things I'd like to say is that you're please welcome to stick around for the refreshments that we have. We are also selling the ever-popular park passports that some of you might have heard about, along with some native honey that was harvested from Normandy Oak's beehives. That'll be there. Real quick, a couple other housekeeping items. 7 a.m. tomorrow. Normally we pass out tree saplings. We had a snafu with getting a hold of those this year. They're en route, so we will provide those to the students as well. We'll deliver those directly to the school tomorrow or Monday. And those would be available if we have them starting at 7 a.m. on Saturday at the farmers market, along with the honey and the park passports as well, so long as supplies last. And lastly, I identified Bob Muller previously with the Royal Oak Nature Society. He said he'd be willing to offer some kind of guided tours through parts of the woods in Tenhave. And should you have interest in doing that, see Bob after the ceremony here. Okay, Sophie, it's all on you. Thanks again, everybody.
Now, third year, let's go ahead and take the scoop and put it in, and then hand it to the next person. Nick, come right on over. Good job, Peter. Isn't that great?
You know what, Zeke?
Zeke, do you want to come
Throw
on
it
the other
in.
side so that you're closer? Good job, Nick. Camila, you ready for this?
What? Am I supposed to put it in there? You're supposed to put it in there! No! Stop! Oh, man! Oh, yeah, bro. Do a big one. I know. I hope Oh, yeah!
Okay, we'll go after Jeff.
Good job, Mike.
Not too much, because it's pretty heavy.
Not for us.